Alrighty, guys, thank you very much for joining me. I am your host, Jayzon, here for another match for Chair League, and I am a little bit off center. I apologize. There we go. That's a little better. Pro Division match we got here. Can't Wake Up versus Lizard Wizards. Going to be here on Cursed Hollow, and right away, Can't Wake Up is going to take out the Lost Vikings. Samuru is going to be banned on the other side by Lizard Wizards. Nobody wanted to face the Warcraft 3 samurai ninja stealth guy orc thing at this point. Makes a lot of sense. He is it's a league made up of chairs. Let's not forget what the core foundation of Chair League is, guys. It's all about the chairs and the leagues, indeed. So right away, Li Ming is going to be the pickup. Li Ming is going to be the pickup for Can't Wake Up. Interesting pick here. Going to give Malfurion and Zarya over to Lizard Wizards, and boy, did they scoop that up real quick. They didn't even need to think about what they wanted here on Cursed Hollow. Zarya, very good for this map for the ranged poke potential. Also being able to take a lot of damage over the long sustained fights that we have here on Cursed Hollow. Malfurion, also a very quality healer for the sustained fights as well as the denial on those points, particularly after level 4 with that Loon's Grace, that extra range. Meriden and Brightwing coming out for Can't Wake Up. These guys are really on the ball with drafting. Meriden very good at being able to get in there and interrupt tributes as well. Brightwing with the global, super good on this map. Ban coming up here for Lizard Wizards. They could decide to try to apply a bit of a tank chokehold if they're planning on going double tank. They might want to consider either getting or banning Tychus at this point. Zarya, pretty much always a foreshadowing of a double tank comp. We'll see. Oh my goodness! If it isn't Jayha, welcome. It's an honor. It's an honor to have you watching, sir. But we do have the band coming up here. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to go with. There are a couple different chokeholds they can try to apply. Based on what they want to pick up. They're going to choose to ban out the Zagara, kind of foreshadowing a little bit of a split push, or they just want to deny it altogether on this map. Abathur, of course, always it's kind of the home of Abathur here on Cursed Hollow. Don't know if we'll see either comp try to build towards that at this point. Both teams have done a pretty good job of hiding the meat and potatoes of their comps at this point. Li Ming definitely going to be the big damage dealer, but at least burst side for Can't Wake Up, but that auto, which auto they pick up, I think is going to really depend on what these last couple picks are. So it could be just about anything. Could be Lunara, could be Vala, Tychus, Raynor. It could go with a lot of different things still. Meanwhile, Zarya and Malf, those are just two really, really standard picks. We don't know exactly what Lizard Wizards are wanting here, but we do see the Vala ban out for Can't Wake Up. So at this point, they're looking at being able to hold for being able to possibly pick a Tychus here, I think. They didn't want to ban it out because they want it available in case Lizard Wizards pass on it and end up picking up a second tank, because you don't see much solo tank Zarya. It's not very viable, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Yeah, Super Jova's got it right. These guys know exactly what they want. Thrall, a very nice pickup here for the Lizard Wizards. Good solid poke potential with the chain heal. And scouting the opponents. Aha. Well, that's good to know. Happy to afford you the opportunity then. Couple more picks here. You would think that that could be a viable front line for the side of Lizard Wizards. A little bit squishy, particularly against a Li Ming burst damage, though. So they could still be thinking about that double tank possibility. Tychus could be a really good pickup for them here if they are still thinking about it. If not, then the world is their oyster. They are going to go Falstad, so they're going to have that global presence to be able to respond to Brightwing with that global presence that they've brought for Can't Wake Up here. So last two picks here, definitely need to see that. So kind of really nice drafting here by Lizard Wizards. I really like what they've done where they've left the comp kind of open. They could pick another damage dealer for range. They could pick a second healer if they want to go double support. They could pick up another frontliner if they want to go a little bit more aggro heavy, like what we see with a lot of Zarya comps. But Malfurion, more of a healer that can sit back and sustain a little better. But same with Brightwing. Both of these teams kind of going with the poke so far. So we'll have to see what Can't Wake Up decides to go to. Like I said, Li Ming, definitely a big pick, but it is going to be Abathur. They're going to go ahead and elect to bring Abathur home here onto Curse Hollow, and a vicious hero to have for the split push on this map, as well as the constant slow mines that can be put out throughout the map to give you vision and an advanced notice on rotations and a rotational advantage with the slow from those mines. Abathur, this is definitely the best map for it. Can't Wake Up are breaking it out here in a big way. So one more pick for them. Again, you would expect a damage dealer, something like a Vol, but it is going to be Illidan. Okay, so they're going to go with that double front line, but not really something that enables Tychus. I really like that. In fact, it really goes against Tychus with the auto attack, the complete auto attack shutdown that Illidan does have. Also, no Brightwing counter on the other side. They could elect to go with a little bit more of a frontline Johanna or maybe a backline Lili for the blinds if they want to focus a little bit on trying to counter Illidan. At this point, I don't see as they have a big counter to him. I think that's why Can't Wake Up has elected to go with that Illidan pick. And yeah, Jehao foreshadowed it perfectly there for us. That was really nice. And Tyrael is going to be the pickup, so they are going to elect to go double front line. Tyrael also very good at denial on this map, good at zoning. After 16 with that Holy Ground, has the ability to get those boss steals in, and it's gonna make Lizard Wizards have a really good ability to push in early. They're gonna have the early game advantage when Abathur does not have the clone pre-10. Is going to be able to dominate a lot of those 4v5 situations. They're going to have to take advantage of it, though. If Can't Wake Up is allowed to keep up and is allowed to stall out these tribute phases for a really long time, it's going to be rough with the Abathur Soak on the other side. They're going to end up struggling quite a lot in the late game. If they let this Abathur comp keep up, they've got to get a lead. And, it can happen. It can be a situation where on this map you get those tributes and you get the ability to get that done really quickly. Actually, let's go back to the draft. These guys are still readying in, but we'll have to see. Lizard Wizards are going to have to be very aggressive in the early game to be able to push through, take those quickly, and then get back to lane to soak so they don't miss too much on the Abathur split soak side of things. If they get that first curse and are able to get a really strong structure advantage, I do like their odds. I feel like their comp does have the ability to do that, to push very heavily with that triple front line. The big heals from Malfurion, those nice sustained heals, and even the burst potential of Falstad. They could go a couple different ways with that. So thank you very much for joining me, guys, here for the nightcap. Nice late game here. Pro Division, Can't Wake Up versus Lizard Wizards. Gonna be a fun one here on Cursed Hollow. I feel like both of these teams have drafted incredibly strong heroes for the map. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce these teams here as we're loading in. Can't Wake Up is gonna be your blue team on the left with Kwanzar on Li Ming. Zabutak is going to be playing Illidan. Dida is going to be playing Muradin. Happy Feet on Brightwing. And Ronaldo will be our Abathur player. Meanwhile, on the right, it is the Lizard Wizards. It's going to be your red team. Vivance is going to be playing Tyrael. Selenity on Zarya. Jono 306 is going to be playing Falstad. Athrok will be Malfurion. And Aiton is going to be playing Thrall. All right, so let's get everything ready to go for our match here. These teams are definitely ready to go. Right on time for both of these teams. Do appreciate the punctuality that both of these teams have for us tonight.
The battle begins in 10 seconds.
Right away, it does look like both of these teams are going to start with that mid push. I would say that definitely a level 1 advantage for the side of the Lizard Wizards with that Abathur. Always tough to fight early. They are going to send Zabutak up to the top lane, so probably not going to be too overly aggressive here in the early phase. Is Can't Wake Up. Wanzar is going to continue to throw out those abilities, though, and if he can get any poke out. But all 5 here, they will start to rotate out to lane. We see Aiton is going to go ahead and go to the top lane to start soaking there. Going to be in for a duel with Abathur, which is a duel that I like him to be able to win. The global will go ahead and go to the bottom. Falstad is going to start soaking there. Right away, we're already seeing Solemnity throwing out those shields to start to build up a little bit of that energy, get the extra damage. We do have both of our globals in the bottom lane. Abathur going to go ahead and put on his PJs and get to sleep behind that wall where he's nice and safe. Li Ming going to rotate to the bottom. Not coming out too crazy for these teams, not being too overly aggressive early, which is definitely not what I would expect. Was definitely what I would expect out of Can't Wake Up. Lizard Wizards. It's kind of a big map to get rotations on, though. It's a little bit rough to get solid rotations without utilizing globals. But right away, Zabutak getting pretty low here. Aiton going to be looking for it. Does end up hitting that Chain Lightning. Not quite enough, but Zabutak is going to have to get a little bit of heals from Happy Feet. The phase shift comes in, be able to slowly tick him back up for a little while. And they're going to go back on Aiton and get a little bit of work done there. In the mid lane, it is a 3v1. Dida is going to be struggling here a little bit. And this is the game with Abathur early. You know, you got to be able to pressure something while this Abathur is not able to do a whole lot. And right now they are doing a nice job here, are the Lizard Wizards. Soaking up 2 lanes, putting pressure in mid. And the response here is Zabutak and Happy Feet in the top lane, getting some nice damage on that top fort. So they are responding with some siege damage of their own. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the 2 burst damage dealers going back and forth. Start this off. Probably nothing too crazy going to come out of this lane early as the poke back and forth to just clear those lanes. But soon, and very, very soon, I should say, we are going to see that first tribute spawning. We'll have to see how the rotations come in here. Falstad in the bottom lane is a very advantageous position for them. Meanwhile, Brightwing in that top lane, not really able to utilize the global as much. It does look like we're going to see the rotation coming in here from Can't Wake Up. They are going to elect to contest here. As Illidan doing a nice job of capturing that camp before this as the poke game will start. But wow, nice zoning there from Lizard Wizards. They're going to cap that instantly, and that is what you want to see if you're Lizard Wizards. Don't give up too much of this free soak to this Abathur in bottom, because that is going to spell defeat for you in the long run. A nice roof coming out from Athrock. Does get some solid harass there on Happy Feet, but this camp is going to go pretty much... is pretty much going to get cleared and not going to get as much value because of that instant cap of the tribute. In the mid lane, nice response here, getting a little bit of push from the side of Can't Wake Up. Nothing that Lizard Wizards can't handle and clean up on their own, however. Meanwhile, Happy Feet doing a nice job of harassing Aiton up here. Definitely going to get a little bit of value out of that siege camp. Meanwhile, Illidan will cap in the mid, just continuing that jungling style that Illidans are so well known for. No resource cost, so they can just continue to throw out those spells to capture camps pretty much from the get-go of when they start spawning. We do see a positional advantage for this tribute for the side of Can't Wake Up, and they are going to be scouted out by these mines. But here comes the rotation. It looks like this one they're going to definitely contest big time, as they're diving in deep for this one. Solemnity in a little bit of trouble here in the middle of the team. Split away from the healer, is not going to be able to get any help, and it's going to be blown up here. And here come the resets in from Li Ming as well. Guaznar with that Calamity build, going to be able to also take out Falstad. Very, very nice play there from the side of Can't Wake Up. Lizard Wizards got pretty well split. Athrock was completely isolated from Solemnity. Nothing that he could really do to help her out there, and that is going to result in that tribute going over to the side of Can't Wake Up, and that's a little bit disastrous for Lizard Wizards. Like I said, with this Abathur comp, they really need to be able to win the early game if they hope to be able to keep up here in the long run. That Abathur is going to continue to split soak, to put pressure on the map throughout the match, and if you're not ahead in the late game, it'll really, really hurt. Both teams getting on back out to lane at this point. Nothing too crazy. We will see the siege camp coming out in the bottom lane. Good shot at the top lane being the host of the next tribute. So a nice cap there, but will it be too early? We'll have to see if the side of Can't Wake Up does have the ability to clear that. Certainly Happy Feet can stay up here, or stay down here, I should say, as long as needed to try and clear this out. But here it comes. It is going to be on the advantageous part of the map for the side of the Lizard Wizards, in that nice crevice where they can zone it for days. But the rotational advantage is going to go over to the side of Can't Wake Up at this point. Only Vivance here. Meanwhile, everybody else taking a very safe and passive rotation. So already Can't Wake Up are in on this. They are not only going to contest, they're going to go all the way in deep for this. Zabutok taking a little bit of harass, but here comes the phase shift. Happy Feet taking a lot of damage, though, getting right in the middle of that. But Thrall is actually going to be the first one to go down. That is going to proc the resets from Quasar. And all of a sudden, those Li Ming abilities are starting to really, really hurt. 2 members down, a 2-for-0 exchange already. And the side of Can't Wake Up have woken up in a big, big way as they get closer and closer to level 10 here as well. Selenity doing all she can, but ultimately is going to be stunned, isolated, and eliminated here. And just disastrous for Lizard Wizards. Vivance is going to try and get out of this situation, but is going to be scouted out by Brightwing there, and a nice stall, at least, to get that sword in there. But ultimately, this is going to be second tribute going over to the side of Can't Wake Up, doing a very nice job of winning these in a 4v5 situation. You know, they have Abathur, at least the Abathur hat, and Abathur actually going to get eaten. Bird eats worm. That's that's how it goes here in Heroes of the Storm. That global is a nice counter all on its own, but we do see a boss started here by Can't Wake Up. They do have the level 10. In fact, they even have the level 11 at this point, a full level lead. Level 10s are now in play, however, for Lizard Wizards. And Abathur will be back up shortly to be able to probably go on into the top lane and start that soak and coverage. So didn't lose too much from that pick. Meanwhile, the boss is going to be captured here by Zabutok. This has not been scouted out by the Lizard Wizards in any way. They don't have any formal long-range form of scouting, so they would have to hard check it. And Illidan, just the kind of hero that can do it all on his own with just a little bit of help from. Well, he can do it all on his own later, I think, but just a little help from Happy Feet, more than enough. Meanwhile, it's going to be pushing in this bottom lane. We do have the positional advantage. Tribute is up for the side of Can't Wake Up. This is curse point for them. They got a lot to win here. Meanwhile, Holtz are out. It is going to be Expulsion Zone, Twilight Dream. Nothing too surprising. Emerald Wind coming out for Brightwing. They're going to choose to go with those zoning tools. Meanwhile, Wanzar has positioned in the top here to be able to get some solid poke out. Is going to actually go around the backside to try and get some harassment. But here comes the collapse and a nice Twilight Dream. But not getting enough value in there as he is blown up right after. Meanwhile, Kwanzaa getting in there deep with all of those resets, and it is a 2-for-3 at this point. So pretty even fight overall. The Twilight Dream got in, and I thought it got enough to really turn that fight. But as soon as Malfurion got collapsed and killed there, the advantage did go over to Can't Wake Up with those resets. It was that first kill. And it's been the story all game. Li Ming resets have been the doom for Lizard Wizards. That first pick happens where those Malfurion heals are not ticking quite quick enough to be able to really do anything about that. And that's just how it's been going. Meanwhile, Curse is over here for Can't Wake Up. Jono going to get in there and try and at least push Dida off of that. But the fort is going to go down. Top fort also being pressured by Happy Feet. And the collapse coming in here as well. Kwanzaa trying to poke, and little PM coming out even from Kwanzaa there, keeping some nice vision, getting a little damage out. Pressure from Abathur here in the bottom lane, and it's collapsing in on all sides as we do see. Not only has the Abathur comp here Can't Wake Up not fallen behind, but they've gotten quite a lead, which is really enabling Abathur and that split soak to be able to get a lot of effectiveness. Can't Wake Up dominating here in the first half of this match, and with the curse even going to get a ton of harass down on this bottom keep. Front walls are slowly but surely being damaged as well, and Lizard Wizards going to have to do something to turn this around. 16 right around the corner here. They could be looking for a fight here. But it does look like they're going to actually let them back out of the situation. Not a whole lot that they can do to chase. The zoning tool is not exactly there. But Aiden is actually going to look for the stun. He's going to get it out on Muradin. But does look like he's going to be able to dwarf toss his way on out of trouble there. And level 16 is right around the corner here for Can't Wake Up. Not wanting to be too overly aggressive at this phase of the match. Boss is up over on the side of Lizard Wizards. We do see Illidan going ahead and getting back up and is going to grab that camp. And level 16s are here. You probably will see Can't Wake Up turning up the aggression now. Clearing out some of the vision from these walls. Just cleaning up house at this point. And every lane pretty well pushed in here for the side of Can't Wake Up. They've done a nice job of maintaining map control, maintaining vision control. And they're looking for a pick here on Aiden. Aiden in a ton of trouble here. Is going to get hit by the Stormbolt. The Poly is going to hit a nice Sunder to at least try and zone them. And Jono with a huge save. Aiden, I think, owes Jono a couple bucks on that one. But very, very nice Gust for the save. Meanwhile, this boss is going to be started here. It will be scouted out by Abathur that the team is coming. Not to mention the wave completely pushed in. Vyvanse is going to go ahead and get in on this, but Emerald Wind coming out for the zoning. For now is still a... Well, we do see the Ultimate Evolution coming out to push in. Also, the Invulnerability going to come out there as well, but it is going to be Tyrael going down first. It is going to proc a couple of kills as well, though, off of that Tyrael passive. Even with the resets, not enough that Kwanzaa can do. It is going to be a 1-for-2 trade, and the boss is retaken by Lizard Wizards. This is exactly what they needed to be able to get back into this match. 16 right around the corner with 2 members down and no Ultimate Evolution for 33 seconds. All they can do is just back up and clean up the boss here, and this is going to be a tribute, a free tribute going over to the Lizard Wizards. No problem for them being able to pick this up, as they are also going to go ahead and push into this top lane and pressure. It's going to be a nice win for them to be able to open up some part of the map to be able to try and get later in the match. They are going to be able to clean up this top fort pretty easily. Again, opening the map to where if they get a later boss in this match in their top lane on their boss side, it is going to be something that they can take advantage of and possibly open a win condition for them. It's exactly what they needed. Level 16s are here. We are on even talent tiers, which is something that was desperately needed by Lizard Wizards. And this is going to be Cursed Point coming up on this next tribute for the side of Lizard Wizards. They've got a lot to win here. Vyvanse is actually going to scout this out. Is going to go ahead and get the... oh, and the fly-in from Jono. They are going to hit the Gust to be able to push them back. Brightwing instantly blown up there. And... they even are able to bait out the Ultimate Evolution as this comes up. This is going to be a free boss for them as well. They turn around. They're going to go instantly to it. Without Brightwing, there's really no way they can contest in this situation. And right around the corner is also going to be the spawn. There it is, of this tribute. Even in the bottom, suddenly everything going Lizard Wizards' way in this bottom half. The match was completely dominated in the early part by the side of Can't Wake Up, but all of a sudden... Lizard Wizards are the ones that have woken up and are getting a huge, huge advantage here in the late game. This bottom boss is going to be aided by this curse. It's going to be freely picked up here, as we do see the collapse back into bottom. And Gus not up at this point, not able to zone that out at this point. But Holy Ground going to cut off Ditto. Will have to Dwarf Toss out of there to get out of harm's way. Meanwhile, this boss is pushing through this bottom lane, and the curse is up. Abathur doing what he can to try and at least stave off that top lane with that body soaking, but ults are here. We'll have to see if the side of Can't Wake Up wants to try to engage. They are going to go ahead and retreat back over the wall. Holy Ground going to be trying to isolate somebody there. Dita is going to be rooted, is going to have to Dwarf Toss out. Boss still getting a nice push in here. Still 50% health on that boss. And Quasar trying to throw out the damage onto the back line. Ultimately, is going to get Illidan killed, though, as he goes in deep. As trying to follow up with that. Does end up falling. Emerald Wind going to zone them out for a moment, but this is going to be a keep for them. And this could be game as well. A few more picks. This is going to be it. And Falstad going to go ahead and fly in and Gus Dita back into the team. The root comes out. Gonna be rooted in the Dwarf Toss. Is not unstoppable anymore. And Storm Shield coming, or the AoE Shield's coming out there from Tyrael as well. Is gonna help them push in. They are going for it all here with the boss and Sanctification. That is going to be it. GG's are gonna be coming out here as Malfurion goes down, but that is gonna be it. Lizard Wizards are gonna take game 1 here on Cursed Hollow. Very, very nice comeback from them. They did a pretty incredible job not being shaken from that early game deficit to be able to come back and just dominate one win after another in that late game. Very impressive. They are also going to have their map choice here, so taking a pretty solid advantage in this series, not only emotionally, but literally here. With their map of choice, they get to be on their own home turf. We'll have to see what Captain Vivance has for us for this next map choice. Let's see. That is not where I want to go. Oh, looks like they're already on it. Ha! So we are going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. All right. One of my favorite maps here in Heroes of the Storm. Definitely a fan favorite in most situations, I do believe. And these teams are right on it, man. They know exactly what's up. Go ahead and get these set up for these guys. Tomb. I guess it would help if I reported that first game win and going on to the next. There we go. All right. Get these draft links out for these guys real quick. All right. Game 2 here on the Lizard Wizards map of choice is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. Gotta say, for the record, I really love this new drafting system. I don't have to throw out my disclaimer about the teams being on separate sides. We'll just get to see Lizard Wizards drafting first this time around, even though the colors are the same. Very nicely done for whoever has integrated this. It's a big win for Chair League in general. Both of these teams are already in here. I imagine we'll see some prioritization of Samuru in this ban phase. He's just too strong, man. I swear, we've every match I've played with Samuru around, just can't heal through him. Just can't heal through that Blade Storm. It's just totally ridiculous. Zarya is going to be the ban out here for the side of Can't Wake Up. Not really appreciating the Solemnity play. It looks like it's going to be a respect ban coming out to get rid of Zarya in this situation. And Li Ming is going to be the pickup for Lizard Wizards. So kind of a total flip here, as they're going to go ahead and take the hero that they feel dominated the early game there. Going to take that Li Ming away. Meanwhile, Vala and Ariel are going to be the pickup. Nice wave clear, which is a premium here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Also, great damage from Vala to be able to feed Ariel. So right away, two very strong picks to build the core of a really good team comp here. We're going to see Sylvanas coming out for Lizard Wizards, a very, very strong pick on this map specifically because of the ability to aid the push of those Spider Queens. And just in general, Sylvanas very, very good at soaking on this map of wave clear. Camp's not really a high priority, but it is something that she can do really easily. But it's mainly just shutting down those towers to enable the spiders. And Thrall going to be also a pretty good pickup, a good solo laner for the side of Lizard Wizards. Also good poke and denial on the turn-ins here to be able to try and stop Can't Wake Up from turning in on those gem turn-in locations. First ban, or second ban coming in here from Can't Wake Up. They are going to go ahead and ban out Malfurion. Kind of a shocker that Malfurion made it this far through the draft phase. I suppose not the healer they were looking for over on the side of Lizard Wizards. He has been nerfed a little bit. The nerf made him a little bit less OP. Especially the root change, I think, was a big deal. The roots was really the part of Malfurion that was the most broken. Also, taking away the initial heal increase at 4 was a pretty big deal for him. But I still feel like he's definitely the strongest healer in the game, bar none. But both teams electing to not prioritize picking him up. Lunara, the ban out for Lizard Wizards. Pretty good solid ban out here. Lunara gets a lot of value on this map because of the wave clear potential, as well as the siege potential. She's just an all-around good hero. Has good stuff in the kit. Alarak coming out here for Can't Wake Up. Alarak's been a really top-tier hero in a lot of the top game lately. And I don't know, every time I see an Alarak on the other side, I start to get a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach that somebody is going to be making a big difference in the middle of those team fights. Meanwhile, ETC going to be the pickup here in the front line from Can't Wake Up. Going to get some solid support on being able to get in there with Alarak and get some solid CC going to be able to enable him to start ripping people apart, which is what he does best. They've also left their comp very, very open. They can go a little bit more frontline heavy if they want to pick up that last frontliner. They can go double support if they want. They can go with another range damage dealer. So kind of waiting to see what Lizard Wizard picks up here. Be able to finish out that last pick, not pigeonholing themselves with the first part of this draft. Meanwhile, Brightwing coming out here along with Tyrael. So again, Lizard Wizard's going to go ahead and respect that Tyrael value that they were getting. Going to go double front line with Thrall and Tyrael. So not really enabling the Tychus pick. I like that quite a lot. Brightwing, a good sustained healer to be able to do exactly what Ariel does on the other side. Just maybe not as much of a burst AoE heal, more of a sustained AoE heal. Really like the draft coming out from Lizard Wizards here. Double front line is very strong on this map to be able to help zone and or deny on those turn-in locations. They have good solid wave clear, and just in general an all-around good comp that can enable them, I think, to get the win here. Meanwhile, the comp here, I still think it needs a little bit. I still think it needs another range damage dealer. They could try to go something with a little burst damage, but I'm not feeling Jaina in this situation. I feel like she would be a little bit too easily collapsed on. I'll have to see what they go with. Kind of a rough one. Tychus is still an option, but they've already got Bala for the auto damage. Alarak, kind of a burst damage dealer when it gets in there deep. Could possibly go with a second support here. They want to go with something a little bit more damage oriented, but they are going to elect to go with Jaina. I'm a little worried about that Jaina pickup, just for the fact that she gets a lot of value when she has a strong front line to be able to go in and zone for her when she wants to get that ring off and get that combo. But if the enemy team has the ability to collapse and get a lot of damage on her, particularly like with a Li Ming and Disintegrate Beam through the entire team, it can make her life pretty difficult. But Alarak and ETC is definitely a good solid zoning for her in that front line. Wouldn't count that out as a possible solid combo. Plus, the best burst damage in the game. There's no denying that Jaina has the strongest actual burst potential in all of Heroes of the Storm, just in terms of DPS per second. She doesn't have the advantage of the resets like with Li Ming, and her cooldowns are incredibly long. But when she hits that combo on somebody, nobody blows them up faster than Jaina. As far as overall draft win, I feel like both of these teams have drafted, again, pretty well for the map in general. I do feel like the stronger early game goes over to Can't Wake Up, certainly with that front line. The sustainability is going to be there for Lizard Wizards, though, yet again in the late game. That's what won them this last one, and we'll see if it's enough to get them this second win in the series to pick up the win this week. This is their map here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and they are your blue team on, or they are your red team on the right. However, the blue team on the left is Can't Wake Up with Kwanzaa on Vala, Zabutok on Alarak. Ditto will be playing ETC, Ronaldo on that Jaina, and Happy Feet is going to be showing us the moves here with Ariel. On the right, we're going to be seeing the Lizard Wizards. Vyvanse is going to be playing Tyrael, Athrock on Brightwing, Aiton on Thrall, Selenity is going to be playing Li Ming, and Jono will be playing Sylvanas. Yeah, Rural Roar makes a really nice point there that Zol not picked up in this draft. Usually a hero that we see on this map, but we've also seen a drop off on Zol. I feel like he's not been very popularly picked up as of late, because of the additional burst potential in from Alarak coming in to the format. I think that anything that you can do nowadays with a Zol, other than maybe the siege potential, you definitely get from Alarak, but certainly a stronger presence in that front line.
Battle begins in 10 seconds.
Of course, with Sylvanas, you always have the opportunity to try and cheese a lane, but it doesn't look like... well, it looks like they might be making a beeline for top. We'll have to see what Lizard Wizards elects to go with here. They are going to go ahead and send 4 up towards this top lane. Meanwhile, a full 5-man push into the mid for Can't Wake Up. Like I said, I feel like they do have a stronger level 1, so it does look like Lizard Wizards are in agreement. And are going to go ahead and play this very passively to start this out. I see a 3-man push in the top lane there. And while this 4-man rotation is going to come out that we see so often in the pro play for Can't Wake Up, they're going to very quickly clear that mid, and we're actually going to see Lizard Wizards backing up while that rotation comes in to the top lane. No surprise there. Nice dodge there, not enabling that orb to come in and start getting the DPS out. But these lanes will be cleared. Rotational advantage here early for Can't Wake Up. We'll have to see if Lizard Wizards wants to try and go with that same basic strategy. Eventually, Can't Wake Up is going to get an advantage in siege damage. But we do see the collapse in here. Athrock in a lot of trouble here. Is going to actually go down on that Brightwing, getting caught out a little bit there. Again, very strong rotations coming out from Can't Wake Up early. First blood goes over to them. And we're going to start this off strong. Kwanzaa taking a little bit of harass in there from the damage, but ultimately is able to push them off long enough to soak that, and the rotation will go right back to the mid. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Alarak versus Thrall. These two bruisers are going to be going back and forth. A little bit of a poke advantage, slight poke advantage for Thrall, but nothing that Alarak can't deal with. So right now they're just going back and forth on this, nothing too crazy. I suspect Thrall to have a slight advantage in clear potential there, but again, both very, very capable of doing the job there. Meanwhile, Vyvanse getting caught out a little bit, but a nice juke to be able to knife on over the wall there. Aldruin's going to get him out of that situation, but still taking a lot of harass. Is actually going to go ahead and tap, and this entire middle front wall is down and half a level at this point. Going over to the side of Can't Wake Up. Meanwhile, Jono taking a ton of harass. Will be able to Haunting Wave out of that situation, but not before taking an incredible amount of damage. Gonna have to step back long enough to get some heals and some support there. Meanwhile, that middle lane, that front wall is completely gone already. Very aggressive approach here. Meanwhile, Vyvance, yet again, caught a little bit far out in lane, is going to out Ruins out, but Dida is going to be right on top of that to get the slide, and Vyvance is going to go down here. How many is he going to be able to hit with that passive? Does get Kwanzaa, but nothing that Happy Feet can't handle with the burst potential. Salinity trying to rotate around the backside, but wasn't able to get a whole lot of damage out without getting in harm's way. So yet another good solid rotational kill there for the side of Can't Wake Up. They are definitely dominating with this 4-man rotation in the position early, and they almost have enough gems already. They've also been doing a nice job of denying the gem pickups and causing some of these gem drops for Lizard Wizards. A huge gem advantage as they do start to turn these in. 13 turned in already, and they do have enough in their pockets to be able to get the first set of Web Weavers at this point in the match. Not to mention nearly a full level lead, so yet again, Can't Wake Up starting off very strong in the early game. Ronaldo going to go ahead and cast here. Nice zoning by the other members of Can't Wake Up here. Zabutak holding 17 all his own. Meanwhile, Salinity getting caught out a little bit. Dida with a nice slide to be able to get in there. But the teleport over the wall is going to get Salinity out in that situation. And we do see that they are able to walk away with their lives intact. However, they're going to go back to trying to cast to get this. And nice zoning there by Happy Feet, hitting the stun out on Athrok with that whip. And all of a sudden, they're only 8 away. Dida does hold the rest of what they need on there, and is going to be able to get a free cast in here. First Web Weavers are going to be going over to Can't Wake Up here. As level 7 right around the corner, they are going to have about half a level advantage as they pick up 7. And it does look like they're going to go ahead and send 4 to pressure this top lane, where we will see the response of the 4 members up here. Everybody but those solo soakers still going back and forth in the bottom. But here comes the Web Weaver. But many members pretty low here already. Nice poke coming out here from the side of Lizard Wizards to be able to at least pressure them back a little bit. Able to get a little bit of damage through to the Spider to start this off. Dida also getting a little bit low here. They're not wanting to give up a kill at this point and enable those resets from Li Ming. But we'll have to see as the cast is going to come out here, be able to start getting a little bit of damage. But they will go ahead and rotate to mid, where the mid completely being annihilated here, as that fort is going to go down, and already getting some solid push-ins, starting to snowball a little bit. They'll rotate to the bottom as well to be able to pressure this, as the Lizard Wizards just slowly following them down to clean up the mess that are being left by these Web Weavers. But not able to engage at this point in the match. They just they don't have a strong early game. I think with ults it's going to make a complete difference here, but they are able to at least defend this bottom fort. They had a nice defense in the top as well, but full level lead, even a little bit more than a level at this point for Can't Wake Up. A little bit of soak still being able to be grabbed here by Lizard Wizards, though. Their lanes are still a little bit pushed in. Meanwhile, the collapse on Kwanzaa almost turns into a pick in the bottom lane. However, we do see the counter engage as Athrok going to be caught out a little bit here. Does not have that level 10 blink heal yet to even possibly be able to get out of harm's way, and is going to end up getting picked for that aggression. All of a sudden, it's 3 kills to 0 here for the side of Can't Wake Up. Happy Feet going to do a nice job of scouting out here and getting the interrupt, trying to deny. So nice goaltending here for the side of Can't Wake Up, and that is the name of the game when you're ahead here. They do also have level 10s, so instantly we're going to see them backing up. A stage dive comes out right away. That zoning stage dive. And nice goaltending there from Happy Feet and Can't Wake Up. That's what you want to see when you're ahead. You just want to make sure that your opponents are not enabled to at least get those for free. If they are somehow able to zone you out and push hard into a turn-in location, that's one thing. But like in the bottom there, that Aiton getting in that free turn-in. Salinity also trying to go in for free to get that. However, they do get the pick in the top there, being able to take out Brightwing, and they're going to get this top fort. However, they do get at least a few gems turned in here. Jono still going to have to get a turn in if they hope to get Web Weavers, but pushing the advantage here with those level 10s are Can't Wake Up. They're going to get a free turn in here. Unless Vyvanse has something to say about it, which appears that he does. We'll go ahead and get that Aldruins in to at least stop Kwanzaa getting those 3 in. But oh, and a ton of damage coming out. But Kwanzaa still gets the cast off to be able to get those turned in. And also in the bottom lane, Alarak getting the rest of the gems needed to get the second set of web weavers. So Can't Wake Up definitely doing a nice job of snowballing here. Level 10s are still half a level away, so still a little bit until they are going to be able to really take full advantage of those ults and be able to push back against Can't Wake Up. They may be having to surrender a 3rd fort in this situation. We do see a 4-man push coming in here from Can't Wake Up, and Stage Dive is up for ETC. Can always come right on in from that top lane, from that side soak. But level 10s are here, and here is Stage Dive. Ditta's going to come in, is going to get the slide out only on Vyvanse, as we do see Lizard Wizards backing up. Aiden also going to hit that Sunder, but a huge ring is going to be hit there. However, it will be countered by that Sanctification. But it's not going to be enough, ultimately, as the sustained healing coming in from Happy Feet there on Ariel is going to be enough to sustain them through that situation. And definitely a huge win there for Can't Wake Up as they win the first major team fight of the match. Doing a nice job of keeping the pressure up. Gotta give a lot of respect to Ronaldo hitting a huge ring in there. I wasn't sure whether or not they were going to be able to really take advantage of the Jaina here, but that is going to be the first pick off there as Ariel gets in a little bit too far, trying to put a little bit too pressure in. So nice job by Lizard Wizards punishing in that situation, but they aren't able to scout out the camp capture there. Could have easily collapsed on that, but nice job by Ditta and Zabutak at least staying on it and getting that done quickly so they can get that invasion completed. But, like I said, nice job by Lizard Wizards at least scouting that out. Zabutak is going to get interrupted on that turn, and they do have enough for turn in here. This would be a good opportunity for them. They don't have 13, but it could help them start to catch up a little bit. Meanwhile, Ronaldo getting in there deep to get some damage out. Getting some serious damage out on Vyvanse at the very least. So level 10s are out here. Emerald Wind coming out yet again from our Brightwing player. There's going to be Deadly Charge for Alarak. Nothing too non-standard coming in. Right away, we see the full collapse by Can't Wake Up onto this middle web weaver. It's going to get 0 value, and they will rotate directly to the top one, where Athrok is in deep trouble here. The slide will come out. The face melt. Nice Emerald Wind to at least be able to zone out for a moment. Is going to try the phase shift instead of running away, but a nice whip there from Happy Feet to be able to interrupt that. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we do see the Lizard Wizards are pushing in with Jono and the Sylvanas push to be able to shut down this tower. But the question is, how long until Can't Wake Up zones in? They do get, again, a nice opening here in this bottom lane as they are able to get this bottom fort down. Later on, if they continue to get an advantage that they can press, which they are going to continue pressing here in the bottom, Brightwing can come right back into this. That pick not really costing them too much, as they are going to completely annihilate this front wall with this web weaver still in play. But here comes the stage dive and the collapse. The ring is going to come out and is going to catch Brightwing. Athrok, no Emerald Wind from that attempt of preventing that pick, but it is finally going to come back into play here, but a little bit too late. But nice job of being able to sustain through that here. They've even isolated Happy Feet, but Kwanzaa from over the wall with that strafe is going to be able to take down Solemnity there on Li Ming. Very nice play from Kwanzaa being able to get that from over the wall. Meanwhile, Athrok stepping out too far is going to be punished by Ditta on that slide. And Jono also in a ton of trouble here. No healer at that point, and no ability to run away with that blink heal. bit of a mistake there from Lizard Wizards. They had done a nice job of getting that bottom push, of getting some solid damage out, even getting that front wall, but they didn't get out quick enough. They didn't retreat in an organized enough fashion to be able to save themselves from the grief of the response here from Can't Wake Up. That is going to earn them a free boss in this top lane, which has already been pretty well softened up. No front wall even. This keep is actually going to be under siege. Level 16 also here for Can't Wake Up. So this is an opportunity for them. They're going to go straight to turn in as well. So this is going to be Web Weavers with the boss in the top lane with no front wall on this keep. An immediate collapse here from Lizard Wizards to be able to at least get some damage out on this boss. But here comes Can't Wake Up in this top lane. Stage Dive is going to come out. And they're going to be able to zone out very quickly. Aiden is going to be in a ton of trouble. Thrall will be the first to fall in this team fight. Vivant's caught in the middle, is actually going to sacrifice himself to try and get some extra damage out here to try to enable Solemnity to get that reset, but it's not going to be enough. The AoE healing coming in from Ariel is too strong. The boss is going to take down the fort, and right behind it is finally going to be spawning this Web Weaver. They're going to be pushing in here full. Still 10 seconds on Thrall, 15 on Tyrael. That front line completely gone. So this is going to be Can't Wake Up pushing in a big way. They're going to zone out Solemnity, able to just barely teleport back in to safety. Zabutok taking a ton of damage, but the core is under siege. There is no... and it's Kwanzaa with full commitment to this as Li Ming goes down, and we will see the death there. And they do get some nice damage on the core, but ultimately they are able to take this down to only 53% before the full team wipe comes out. That's going to give level 16 over to Lizard Wizards. They will be able to clean up this, but 2 keeps down here. So I would say value, but they probably could have gotten that same value with just less core damage and no deaths. They could have maybe turned around and tried to rotate to the bottom. But ultimately, they do get some value here, but it's a nice job by Lizard Wizards in a very bleak situation, not giving up, coming back in to be able to get that clear out and wipe the board clean a little bit. They will have the opportunity to go ahead and push out here, be on the same talent tier, get some Merc advantage at least, and gonna have another shot at this one. This one's definitely not over yet. Still a little bit too much on the core to concern themselves with a backdoor attempt here, I do believe. So Lizard Wizards still having an opportunity to come back in this one. Neither team quite having a turn-in, but we are going to see at least some gems being dropped off here for the side of Lizard Wizards. They're going to go ahead and chase them out of this situation, though. A little bit split here. They could have actually elected to go in on this, and I think they're just starting to realize Alarak not with them, but Zabutok is going to come in with this deadly charge. Thinking about it, is going to come in and is actually going to hit Athrock, but we will see the Emerald Wind coming out for the zoning. We also see the Ring is going to be countered by Sanctification, but it is indeed going to be the frontliners going down first, and that is going to spell disaster here. Solemnity doing all she can on the backside. Actually gets that pick out on Kwanzaa, but it's going to be a 1 for 4 in this situation, and that could very well spell the end. They didn't get the healer. Happy Feet still going to be able to be enabled to defend here, and it is Solemnity all alone, trying to defend the core. Many members are pretty low here, however, so she does have the ability to maybe try and do something with the resets, but Happy Feet able to go ahead and... Oh, Happy Feet actually goes down here. The resets are going to be enabled, so Solemnity doing it all by herself at this point. A nice defense coming in here, but completely out of mana. Not enough, as they get just enough siege damage with those 3 catapults. And that is going to be a win here for Can't Wake Up on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Are going to force us into a Game 3. Gotta give her credit, though, man. She did all she could to try and defend that in that situation. She did a nice job of at least getting those picks and coming really, really close, getting the full counter out there. That is going to give us game 3 here in this series. Pretty much the whole match seemed like it was dominated by Can't Wake Up. They overextended a little bit going for the core the first time. As I said, I felt like they could have stepped back, kept a hold of all the gems that they had had. Well, actually, it wasn't that many. I think they had dropped most of their gems after that boss pickup, so I don't think they lost a whole lot, but could have at least prevented some of the XP catch up. But very solid game coming out, particularly from Kwanzaa. You can see it in the numbers, just so much siege, so much hero damage. Really enabling quite a lot of that. Strafe getting a lot of value in a lot of those situations, as you could just, again, you could see it from the numbers. And the sustain was not quite enough there for Lizard Wizards through a lot of that match. I felt like Tyrael Brightwing worked for them at the end of the Cursed Hollow match. Not so much here when it's more PvE oriented. There's not as much priority on camps in general. When you could drop that sanctification in a boss grab scenario, I think it makes a huge difference. But they did make some nice plays. They were not without some solid plays in this match as well. But ultimately, just a little bit too much of a snowball effect for Can't Wake Up. All they had to do was win one team fight early, and they were able to get that up in that top turn-in area. And we're able to split up Lizard Wizards a little bit. So it is going to be the map choice here for Can't Wake Up. Taking a very decisive game 2. Gotta feel good if you Can't Wake Up coming back from that first match where they dominated a lot of the early game, but they ended up losing it in the late game. So we are going to be going to my personal favorite map here for map number 3. It is going to be Sky Temple coming out for both of these teams. High priority on map mobility here. It's a very PvE oriented map, which as we've seen has been something that Can't Wake Up has been really winning in quite often. Pop myself on in here. Get these draft going for these guys. Alrighty. Game number 3 here. Can't Wake Up versus the Lizard Wizards. We're going to Sky Temple. Should be a pretty fun finish to the series. We love 3-game series here in Fair League. We don't get to see them all the time, so really fun when they do hop on in, stick around for a while. All right, looks like we're pretty much ready to get this one started. First pick, first ban. Going over to... Oh, I guess this is actually my mistake. It is Lizard Wizards map pick. Okay, I might have had that backwards this whole time. They are your away team here, so this is going to be their map pick. An interesting map to choose in this scenario, like I said, because I feel like this is a very, very PvE-oriented map, and Can't Wake Up has been just very, very solid in the PvE aspects of these first 2 matches. Where They've also been pretty good in the team fighting, so I wouldn't discount that. But the late game is where the Lizard Wizards have really been coming out and competing so far in the series. Zarya and Li Ming are going to be the banouts. So Lizard Wizards respect first picking Li Ming last game. Going to respect Bannett this time, leaving Samuru open. We could see a Samuru game here. The question is, does anybody on Can't Wake Up play it? I would imagine a Pro Division team like this, you got to have at least one Samuru player, but they're going to elect to take Vala instead. Man, the Easter egg sitting out in the open here. You would think with the Zarya pickup or the Zarya ban for Can't Wake Up, you would think that they would have the ability to take Samuru. But who knows? Could also be a gentleman's agreement between these two teams. But I think Samuru has been out long enough that I think you can toss those out the window. Should be fair game for anybody to have at least had enough practice on it by now, particularly with the ability to go play it for even longer on the PTR point. There's going to be Malfurion picked up here. Interesting prioritization. Vala, a solid pickup. Kwanzar wanting to go ahead and get himself that pick. It worked out really well in the last game. Vala, a very top tier, solid hero right now. So it is going to be Malfurion and Thrall coming out from Lizard Wizards. Malfurion, a really strong pickup on this map where you can get some solid heals out for when you're wanting these sustained fights to try and control these temples. But ultimately, he's a healer that lends himself to more of a PvP aspect of the game, and not so much PvE. Is no mobility, certainly not a global presence, and it is going to be Samuru coming up from Can't Wake Up with Tassadar. So should be interesting to see what they're building for here. Tassadar very good at enabling Vala. Haven't really seen it in combination with Samuru yet. I imagine would be pretty good in general. But we're gonna see what Can't Wake Up has for us for certain. I think Samuru is pretty solid on this map in general. Does have the ability to certainly soak those temples with the mirror images to be able to soak some of that damage, as well as being able to help scout out with that stealth quality. So it is going to be ETC and Falstad banned here, so they're going to take out some of the global presence, which is oh so important on this map. Wouldn't be surprised if Can't Wake Up still makes a play for Brightwing later on here, but Lizard Wizard's starting to run out of opportunities to pick global heroes, which are so important on this big map. Zagara still on the table. Dahaka could still be a possibility, but I would kind of expect to see a Zagara pickup at this point. I feel like that's somebody that could really enable their team. Could also be somebody still that it's probably not somebody that Can't Wake Up is in a position to pick up. They still realistically need a healer and another frontline tank. Meanwhile, Kael'thas is going to be the pickup. We've seen a little bit more of Kael slowly creeping back in to the format. Not in a huge way, but I feel like he's about as viable as Jaina. And Johanna going to be the pickup here for the frontline tank. So again, leaving themselves pretty open to be able to build what they want for this last pick. Kind of a classic draft move in this style of draft. It is going to be the Brightwing pickup here for Can't Wake Up. So who is their tank is the only question left. You know, you would think a Muradin is a pretty standard pick here. Also something that can dive in with Samuru and enable him a little bit. Certainly somebody that can get in there and but he does have the problem of being very easily CC'd nowadays. If you catch him in the middle of that dwarf toss, he can't even jump over roots anymore. It's really a problem where there's so much CC out for the Lizard Wizards right now. That's going to be huge for trying to counter Samuru as well with those roots, with the condemn and the stun from KT. They're going to be able to fully collapse on the members of Can't Wake Up here, so they do have the potential to be able to dominate and push into these temple areas. But again, not a whole lot of mobility. That's a lot of this map, is being able to get around. And Can't Wake Up thinking long and hard about this pick. ETC is off the table at this point, so as well, Johanna already picked up by the other side. It is going to be Muradin, but I'm worried about the CC potential. Last pick up here for Lizard Wizards. Again, I feel like Zagara is kind of an obvious pick here for them, being able to split push on this map. The global presence that they're missing, they could be picking up at 10 with Nidus. But we'll have to see what they decide to go with. Really, any siege potential could be really huge for them. They could also continue to try and go more of the PvP approach, but I feel like that is a trap that you don't really want to fall into on this map. It's more of a PvE oriented map, and if you're completely focused on the PvP aspects, a lot of times you could just find yourself behind on structures and XP despite getting yourself picks time to time. I'm afraid to say that my chair league team learned that one the hard way this evening in our own chair league match, but so I'm speaking from experience. But I would if I was, yeah, they are gonna go Lunara. So Lunara, kind of a middle ground to that. She does have good siege potential, but she also has good solid presence. Again, I feel like Zagara, still a more impactful pick there for that global presence late game and the split push on this huge map. Not to mention being able to also move around to the different temples. But meanwhile, here in this draft, we do see Lunara coming out, which is going to give them a lot of pressure in team fighting. They've got a good solid team for getting it done in the paint, as they say in basketball. Being able to get into those areas and fight over them very well. Double support over on the side of Can't Wake Up, so they're gonna have to figure out a way to try and keep up with that damage potential over on the other side. Double support could be the answer, but we'll have to see. As we are loading in here to Sky Temple, game number 3 of the series in the Pro Division here. Can't Wake Up versus the Lizard Wizards. Can't Wake Up will be your blue team on the left. Kwanzar is going to be back on Vala for this match. Happy Feet playing Brightwing. Zubutok's going to be playing Samuru. Ditta playing Muradin. And Tassadar will be played by Ronaldo. Meanwhile, on the right, we do have the Lizard Wizards, are your red team. Team Captain Vivance will be playing Johanna. Atharok on Malfurion. Aiton on Thrall. Solenity is going to be playing Kael'thas. And Jono 306 will be playing Lunara. As we get closer and closer to the end of the season here, playoff hopes are slowly but surely coming on the line here.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah, I gotta agree with CD Jones. I really like Dahaka on this map. We have a player on our team that absolutely loves Dahaka and picks it quite often on this map as well. I think it's a solid choice for that front line, second tank / off tank, but it does also enable Tychus, so it's something you got to watch out for. We will see Vision is going to be captured here by Can't Wake Up early. Going to send Thrall to that bottom lane, so Lizard Wizards not wanting to be overly aggressive here. As the 5-man's still in here, they are going to go ahead and send Zabutok up to that top lane. We'll see right away those mirror images coming in. Here's the thing, though. One of the things we've seen is it does those mirror images. They do count as heroes. It does end up feeding Solenity on those flame strike hits. So we'll have to see if that comes into play later on. Something that Solenity is going to want to try and take advantage of is getting those mirror image hits with Flame Strike. Meanwhile, a very strong collapse there on Atharok, getting caught a little bit far out in lane, and that is going to be first blood going over to Can't Wake Up, starting off early. Very strong here once again. A little bit of a counter push in the mid, so they are going to actually miss the entirety of that of that mid lane soak, which will make up, I think, for that early game pick in XP at least. So it is going to be top lane going over to the Lizard Wizards to start this off. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we are going to see Can't Wake Up going ahead and rotating up, taking the vision, taking this mid temple, and they are just going to be electing to trade for now. Aiton and Happy Feet staying in the bottom lane, getting the soak here, and Aiton getting a nice advantage there. Going to continue to do that as he's actually going to he's not going to continue to do that. He's going to be go back and get, oh, maybe he is. I don't know. He's keeping me guessing here. Zabutok actually going to get scouted out there by Athrock and that Moonfire. It's those mirror images again. They all look the same. They all look the same to them. I'll have to be following Zabutok as much as possible to see a little bit of the Samuru play. Haven't gotten to see a whole lot of it myself just yet. I think he's pretty much an instant ban in most formats of the game right now. You see Happy Feet going to get that poly out to be able to defend a little bit, but Zabutok going to go right ahead and start murking. Again, no resource management here for Zabutok, so much like Illidan, good solid camp taker, and with those mirror images, able to get a good solid bit of soak, and Vivance almost in time to scout that out, but not quite in time. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we do see a lot of pressure coming from Can't Wake Up. They are getting some nice solid damage on that top fort wall, and Kwanzar gonna get caught in a little bit far here. Solenity doing a nice job getting that flame strike in position, with Jono doing a ton of damage and the slow. So nice pick there. So that's gonna be their first kill of the game, evening out the kill count 1-1 here. And Vivance with a very strong rotation in here, gonna go ahead and catch Ronaldo out a little bit. They are gonna even scout out that this camp is being attempted here by Zabutok. Are they gonna go in on this is the question, though. Brightwing in the bot can always face ship up if they want to try and defend. Sorry about that, folks. Got a little away from me there. So they are going to go on the full-on invade here. Brightwing is indeed shifting in. Is going to actually hit Zabutok with that. But they are going to be able to successfully steal the camp. But they are going to pay for it with Lunara's life right off the bat. But Zabutok getting very low in there. Solenity also getting low on the back end as Dida chasing down fully there. Malfurion goes down. And solid response from Can't Wake Up. They lose the camp, but ultimately they are able to get a couple of picks in response there. Without Aiton, that 4-man was not strong enough to be able to both capture it and keep themselves alive. Aiton gonna start this and gonna get a few of those shots stolen. As Dida's gonna come down, and slowly but surely these teams are rotating down in to this bottom temple area. A lot of teams prefer to fight outside of this this area. It can be very, very difficult to actually get that done inside the pit area. But right now they've left Dida on it, so they are going to go ahead and send Vivance at least, possibly to contest him. But right now, just kind of keeping vision as the poke game comes from the back. Kwanzar getting kind of low is going to receive that phase shield from Happy Feet. Meanwhile, Zabutok's throwing out those images, but is actually getting caught out here. Is going to get rooted and blown up there. A nice collapse from the side of Lizard Wizards, but the full Tassadar also going down there as well. However, the temple was taken from the side of for the side of Can't Wake Up. So Lizard Wizards doing a nice job of winning the fight in the lane, but at what cost? As you can see, already starting to take a lot of damage to their structures. They are losing the structure battle at this point, and losing the HP battle for that matter. They're still about half a level behind. Full rotation here on Dida, but a nice dwarf toss to be able to get away from that that gravity lapse from Solenity. Save his life in this match. Both teams still very much in this. Actually, with that XP gained in the mid and top lanes, pretty much even in this race to 10. It's going to be very close. It is going to actually be won a little bit by Can't Wake Up with them clearing these lanes, but bruisers are going to be picked up in that top lane. Going to be pushing a little bit onto the most damaged structure in that top lane. While level 10s are out, we are going to see Strafe, and it is going to be Blink Heal this time around. Not electing to go for the Emerald Wind. Blade Storm. Big shocker there on Sumeru. And just going to be Wall, of course. Going to get those zoning tools out here. Going to go ahead and rotate up here and clean this camp up as quickly as possible. But here comes the Lizard Wizards. Sending just Thrall to soak that bottom and mid lane, trying to push Brightwing out of that a little bit. But they are gonna get the camp cleaned up here very nicely. And again, those stacks just keep stacking up from those mirror images. But this time they get the real one as Samuru goes down here. They're going to continue to pressure onto this top fort, but have they stayed too long as Vyvanse getting slowly but surely knocked down, and the Emerald Dream, Twilight Dream, not in time to be able to save them in there, and that's going to result in both of them falling down. So nice solid response here from the side of Can't Wake Up yet again. They're able to answer to that push and to that early pick on Vala, as well as Samuru. Meanwhile, Aiton going to go ahead and get started in the bottom lane, so they are continuing to try and press some advantage here. It's going to be a full rotation, it looks like, to this bottom lane to defend to make sure they get that. They will end up getting a fort out of this in the bottom lane. Samuru coming down to at least try and scout here, but not a whole lot they're going to be able to do with members still in the middle lane defending that. And they're just going to be able to soak the lane out here. Slight level advantage here still to Can't Wake Up, but completely dead even on the kill count so far. 5-5, so both of these teams still pretty even. Structure's pretty evened out here at this point. Maybe a slight advantage over to the side of Can't Wake Up still, but full 5-man down in here trying to pressure. I think they're trying to fight before 13 gets picked up, but it's right around the corner. They're piling in here nice and tight into this chokehold, as gotta worry about Whirlwind coming in here from Zabutok, and indeed here it comes. The Whirlwind comes out. He's gonna deal a ton of damage. Malfurion gets blown up nearly instantly, but you can say the same on the other side as the healer goes down. But they do end up taunting the boss here. And the boss suddenly turning around and trying to kill Can't Wake Up. And Vyvanse getting very, very low, but the stun going to be absorbed by the wall, and all of a sudden Jono turning on this is going to be being able to poke Ditta off of this to save Vyvanse. It does end up being a 2-for-2. Very even exchange, as they were both trying to pressure around that boss. I imagine, either team is going to try and win that to take boss. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Can't Wake Up getting a little bit of a wave advantage here. Winions going to be slowly but surely taking down this fort if it's not answered to. Here comes Johanna, though, to at least be able to try and save what's left of this fort. Both teams going to go ahead and elect to rotate out to get their siege camps at this point. Nice scouting drone in there. Athrok going with a bit of an interesting level 1 talent with that scouting drone. On a team full of mana users, even. But, the vision is important here in Chair League. When you got these pro teams that are so good at rotations, being able to scout those out are really, really valuable as well. Yeah, picked up in this top lane. Going to be pressuring here. Nothing that the Lizard Wizards can't pick up, however. 20 seconds until this top temple is activating, and they are already in position to try and take it. I'll have to see what Can't Wake Up decides to do. It does look like they may be calling for boss here. And it is going to be scouted out by Aiton, however, that they are here. It does look like that the Lizard Wizards are going to go ahead and rotate to it. And they're easily going to be in time to be able to contest as they go in pretty deep to get some harass out on Aiton. But that's damage that they're not doing. And the damage coming out on Ronaldo early here. Vyvanse is going to go around the back to be able to get some pressure in here. And Strafe coming out is going to get a ton of value in trying to take that down. And the full collapse down, but the Sunder is enough to push the side of Can't Wake Up off of that. It will be picked up, and Johanna goes down, but it's going to be a 1-for-2 exchange. And Brightwing going to make that 1-for-3 as it goes down from that big flame strike and damage from Solemnity. nice solid win there for the Lizard Wizards as they are able to get that Sunder to be able to pick up the boss and then get the picks to go along with it. After that boss had already been picked up, they are going to be pressuring this bottom fort in a big, big way. No Johanna here, but they do still have Aiden on that front line at the very least. And still a few seconds till Samuru's back in on this one. Right wing, of course, can just blink heal or phase shift right in. But they are going to get that front wall and at least a little bit of the keep damage to be able to get started working on that. If they have a spawn in that bottom lane for a temple, that's going to be a free keep for them as they go ahead and back up. They're going to rotate out to this top temple and get started on this. Plenty of time still for Can't Wake Up to rotate up to it, but level 16s are in play for the Lizard Wizards. Realizing that, they realize that an invade not super likely, but here they come anyway. Even without the level 16s, they're not worried about it. The camp has been picked up though, and here come the Lizard Wizards on the other side as shots being stolen here from by Can't Wake Up, and it is going to turn into a full fight here. Level 16s have been achieved by Can't Wake Up, and they go ahead and back up a little bit. Kwanzar is isolated though with this with the Phoenix in there, and right away the Emerald Dream does come out into the ice block, so getting some nice value there. Athrock is able to kill Samuru with that Twilight Dream, or with the Twilight Dream. But that is going to be all they're going to get, as many members getting very, very low here. They are going to have to back out of the situation, and no real reason to fight. Temple's already gone, and at that point they have lost one of their biggest damage dealers in Lunara. But a nice one for one exchange there. Ultimately getting some solid damage out to be able to nearly clean up that last fort for the side of Lizard Wizards. Stealing some of those shots were Can't Wake Up. Both teams going to go ahead and rotate towards their siege camps here, already picked up for the side of Lizard Wizards. Meanwhile, Can't Wake Up kind of looking. Both teams playing the Chinese bush meta right now, you know, just being those scouting hordes, just waiting around. But Ronaldo is gonna give them some vision, as will that Wisp from Lunara. So both teams realizing how passively each other is playing. Just back up and be patient. Continue. A little bit of an engagement. These guys are starting to gotta be careful though, pushing too far into this chokehold with Aiden and that Sunder available. It looks like that's not how they're going to elect to play here. They're going to continue to poke from over that wall. Meanwhile, Athrock getting caught out a little bit, maybe looking for an aggressive Twilight Dream here, and Dabutak going to be caught out on that back end though. Going to be seen, but is going to be able to sneak out around the back there. Deceptively fast. When he walks, he looks like he's moving really slow, I'll tell you. So the fight is gonna occur over this bottom temple. Both teams really wanting this, particularly Lizard Wizards, to be able to finish up that bottom keep, but the camp is pushing at it. However, the full collapse comes in. Twilight Dream paired nicely with Sundering is going to help turn that in Lizard Wizards' favor here. But the fight not over yet. So many members so low, but Vyvanse will be the first to go down there, and all of a sudden, fight starts to go over into Can't Wake Up's abilities there. And doing a nice job getting a lot of damage in from that whirlwind, being able to take a couple members out there, and it's so hard to keep up any one member when that whirlwind is going out. It's so much AoE damage. It's just really, really tough, especially when you got Strafe paired with it. Can be a really, really big contributor to some kills. It is going to be a 2-for-1, however, as Muradin went down. But a very important defense there for Can't Wake Up. Had the Lizard Wizards been able to take that bottom temple, it would have been keep on the bottom lane. So here they are going to be able to pick up both of these temples for the moment. They will eventually have to back off of this mid one with the members of the Lizard Wizards coming back. They start to pressure, but we are going to see the bottom one has been finished up here. So the rotation from Samuru is coming. Muradin also coming back here. So this is going to be a full 5v5 team fight for this. As Aiden starts to come in, we're actually going to see Can't Wake Up backing up a little bit, waiting for their tank to come in. And at this point, with level 20s right around the corner, no real reason to fight for this. Only a few shots left. They got most of that temple. Very wisely going to back off and just take what they can get on the map from there. Bloodbath indeed, Super Jova. 11 kills to 12 here. But a very even match. The XP advantage is still pretty far in favor of Can't Wake Up. 20s right around the corner. As soon as it's picked up, they're going to be looking to engage really, really hard. And Happy Feet doing a nice job split soaking here on Brightwing. But got to be careful, as the CC potential was there for Athrock and Salinity. Ultimately, though, not picking that up. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they are going to start Boss, trying to force them into a fight here with those level 20s. And I don't know if Lizard Wizards can really contest here, but they're going to give it a shot. The full rotation coming in here. They are going to be in time. Vyvanse is going to be able to get in deep on this, and here it goes. Despite the level 20s, they're going to go in on it. The Twilight Dream comes out, but not quite enough to get anybody down. Thrall going to be the first one to be blown up. But still contesting on the boss, but Selenity's going to go down, Vyvanse will fall, and it is going to be a 4-for-1 exchange with the boss pickup. Those level 20s just too powerful for the side of Can't Wake Up, and that could very well be GG. This bottom keep certainly going to be lost in this situation. We'll have to see if the management is solid enough. Nice rotation here from Happy Feet. Going to go back and clean up that bottom camp that's going to be pushing against that wounded keep, and can always phase shift in the situation. Still 23 seconds on Thrall. So many members down here. I don't know if Jono can defend this by himself. The full boss, it's going to be too much. We're going to see Brightwing phase shifting in. They're also going to take down Jono, and that is going to be it. GG's, as Can't Wake Up, coming back from being down 1-0 in the series, being able to take it in these last two matches, and in impressive fashion here. Big congrats to Can't Wake Up. But you gotta respect Lizard Wizards. They realized that boss was probably the end of the game. If they hadn't gone in on it, there's a good chance they could have cleaned it up. But ultimately, just making the call, going for it. And, you can't blame them for trying. They felt like that was a position they were backed into, back against the walls, needed to come out swinging. And they did. They had a nice, solid sustain on that point. But ultimately, those level 20s just too powerful for the side of Can't Wake Up. And they were able to seal the deal with that team fight win. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. Thank you to both of these teams for putting on a really great show for us. Congratulations to the Lizard Wizards taking one of these games in the series and putting on an excellent performance for us. Big congratulations to Can't Wake Up for getting the big win here in the Pro Division. Week number 7. Only 1 week to go until we start the playoffs. So should be a lot of fun to see where these teams fall as the playoffs creeps closer and closer in the end of the season. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. If you like Chair League, I'm not a bad channel to follow. We do quite a lot of casting here on this channel. Also, I do what I can to try and host the other Chair League casters when they are. Yes, thank you, Reaper. I really appreciate the shout out. But yeah, GG's to everybody. Very, very solid game, and TAS MVP. That's true. I didn't really think about it, but you look at the healing numbers coming out. So much shielding, and hard to argue with that Samuro pickup. He got focused quite a lot, but still got a pretty fair amount of damage out, and certainly a good number of finishing blows for the amount he was focused. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me, guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more Chair League action. Have a good night.